Ever wonder where the term Eureka came from? Let me refresh your memory. Have you heard of the Archimedes principle before? Still don't have a clue? Well, if you ever taken a class in fluid mechanics, you probably came across this concept before. Still have no idea what I'm talking about? Alright, let me tell you a story of an ancient Greek mathematician and inventor named Archimedes. One day, Archimedes was summoned by the king himself to investigate if he had been cheated by the goldsmith. The king had given the goldsmith one simple task: to make a crown entirely out of gold that the king had provided the goldsmith with. The goldsmith's task was to turn all of the gold that the king had provided into a crown of pure gold. But the king felt cheated because he believed that the goldsmith mixed some silver into the crown and kept some of the gold for himself. But the king had no way of knowing for sure until Archimedes discovered a solution to his problem. To understand how Archimedes came up with his solution, we have to understand the basic formula of density. We know that density is mass over a given volume. What Archimedes did was simple. He took the crown made by the goldsmith, and he took the amount of gold that the king initially gave the goldsmith and put both of them in a tub of water. If the goldsmith didn't cheat on the king, then both the crown and the gold will sink at the same level. But if the crown was made of silver instead, then there would be a difference in the volumes. The idea behind this came from the fact that when you place an object in water, it has the tendency to sink. The more dense a material or an object is, the more likely it will sink further into the volume of water. When the object is submerged in the water, the volume rises, which causes a displacement. Since in theory we know that gold is denser than silver, it would mean that when gold is placed into a volume of water, the displacement of that would be greater than that of silver. So whichever material displaces the most water is in turn the most dense material, and that you can use to figure out if the crown was in fact made of pure gold or not. Now you may be wondering, where does the concept of, or the saying, Eureka fit into this? It's actually something that Archimedes yelled when he figured out how he could solve the problem. He was taking a bath one day and noticed that as he went down into his tub, water rose and overflowed onto his pores. He then realized that how much of the water that was displaced depended on how much of his body was submerged. This idea excited him so much because he finally found the solution to the king's problem. He was so excited that he jumped out of his tub and ran across the town naked, yelling "Eureka!" which means "I've got it." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Archimedes principle. Eureka!